In Alexandria, Kentucky, local beauty Amy Bosley is living the high life. After years of searching, she's finally found her Mr. Right.
Someone who could come into her life, give her what she wanted, and she didn't have to give much back.
Oh, you're so proud of you.
Amy Bosley married her husband for money. Everything he touched turned to gold.
Bob Bosley runs a lucrative roofing business, and he's a pillar of the community.
He would often donate his services to churches to install steeples.
As a hard-working Christian man, Bob is proud that he provides everything his family could want.
Ready? Smile.
Am I blocking?
But he's gravely underestimating what it will take to satisfy his wife.
Big house, big cars, money in the bank. And she really didn't have to work if she didn't want to, but that's not enough. That is not enough for her. She wants it all.
Bob Bosley is completely unaware of the insatiable greed driving his wife. No matter how much he provides, Amy will always want more.
That's narcissism. They believe they deserve more than what they've been given in life, and they're gonna take it.
Hey, honey. Hey. Gosh, I have to push my management skills to you.
You want me to do your tax?
You know I'm no good at this stuff. You know, the longer I spin up a ladder, the more money we're gonna make.
When Bob innocently asks Amy to manage the company accounts, she sees an opportunity.
He trusted her completely, and she completely took advantage of him.
Amy begins to see all this money that the business has to pay, by law, the IRS.
Amy hatches a plan to deceive her husband.
Write a check to the IRS, put it in the books. Bob would see it in the books, but she would never send the check to the IRS. Instead, she would withdraw that money herself and put it somewhere.
Amy was having an affair with Bob's money.
And it's a passionate affair. Within a few months, Amy steals over $100,000.
It took on a nature of its own, and it became a monster.
But Amy isn't just stealing from her husband. By committing tax fraud, she's also robbing the US government. And they're not so easy to fool.
The IRS started to look into this, thinking Mr. Bosley wasn't paying his taxes. They started sending out letters. What they didn't know was the letters weren't going to Robert Bosley. They were going to a secret P.O. box that Amy had set up to receive those letters.
Business is booming for Bob. He believes the family finances are secure.
While Bob was climbing the business ladder, Amy was climbing into his business accounts.
Amy is bleeding her family dry. She's now stolen over $1 million. But with no tax payments and no contact from Bob Bosley, the IRS believes he is committing the crime.
Glass of water? Nope, fine, thanks. Okay,
And one day, they finally pay a visit.
I'll just get right to the point.
Sure.
I'm investigating your husband, Bob Bosley, for tax evasion.
I can't believe this.
If it's not cleared up, he could face a jail term.
Oh my God.
But even with the threat of prison, Amy keeps stealing.
No one's gonna find out. I'm gonna take this money, I'm gonna hide it. Why? Because I deserve it. I deserve this.
But there are two things you can't avoid in life: death and taxes.
Hello, Amy. here right now. I'm just gonna get him for you.
She's smarter than the police. They're never gonna figure her out. That's what she's thinking in her mind.
Hello, Bob Bosley speaking. How may I help you?
She sounded like Kermit the Frog.
Posing as her husband, Amy agrees to a meeting the following day.
If Bob sat down with those IRS agents, he was going to become aware for the first time that almost $2 million in taxes had not been paid by Amy. That his wife, the mother of his children, was a thief.
But there's no way Amy's going to let that meeting happen. Amy Bosley is a thief and a liar. She's defrauding the government and deceiving her unsuspecting husband. Now, she's about to become a murderer.
This was a man she once loved.
This was a war between these two that she won. Amy completes the job by firing 6 shots into the man she married. Two kids are obviously awake in the next room, scared, hugging their pillows, shaking. Now she's got to cover her tracks.
What's your emergency?
Someone is breaking into my house and he's fighting with my husband. I don't know what to do. No! You can't go out there! It's my kids!
Police are on the way. She needs to act fast.
She goes downstairs, she breaks a window from the outside. She also opens drawers and cabinets in the kitchen and kind of throws things around.
Amy tries to make it look like an intruder has ransacked the house.
She caused a panic in the community by saying an intruder had broken in the house and shot her husband.
Reporter Jim Hanna was one of the first on the scene. Like the detectives, he wasn't convinced by Amy Bosley's performance.
I saw him standing by the bed. I tried to stop him. I tried to grab the gun and look, I can see the hands where he scratched me.
Her story didn't add up from the beginning. There were no footprints from the home. No one saw anyone suspicious in the area, despite a massive search.
Inside the house, things are looking very suspicious.
It looked like a made-for-TV crime scene. The cabinets under the sink are open. There's nothing under a sink that is of any value to a thief. As cops begin to scour through the house, they find 2 bullet casings near Bob's body. They find more shell casings. Where? In the washing machine. Now, why would a thief leave shell casings in a washing machine?
In the following days, investigators get a call from the IRS and learn about the $1.7 million Bob Bosley owes in unpaid taxes.
So this now paints an entire other picture for the police. Motive. 1.7 million motives for Amy Bosley to shoot her husband.
The case is mounting against Amy, but there's still not enough evidence to convict her of murder.
I think the most shocking element of the crime was that this woman shot her husband with children sleeping in the room next door.
Now, I'm going to have to ask you a few questions, okay?
Amy thinks she planned the perfect crime.
So tell me everything that happened.
She had spiked the kids' drink so they would sleep through this, but I don't know anyone who could sleep through a 9mm gun being fired multiple times. And the children didn't.
And I heard this loud bang.
What the children heard that night would bring the whole charade crashing down.
Then I heard glass smashing, things being thrown around.
You heard glass smashing after the shots?
Yes.
They were absolutely sure that they heard the window breaking downstairs after they heard the gunshots.
Faced with this new evidence against her, Amy finally pleads guilty.
Amy Bosley married her husband for money. And she killed him for the same reason.
Amy is sentenced to 20 years, but she takes a secret with her. She refuses to reveal where the money is.
If we just look ahead, maybe, we can see her in the middle of the night some night with a flashlight and a shovel all by herself, looking around, digging in that hole, coming up with that shoebox full of money, and just laughing all the way to the bank.
Amy Bosley will be eligible for parole in 2020. Until then, her secret treasure lies waiting.
When you talk about a human life, it's something to value.
Buck Clinton knows exactly what his son's life was worth. $5,000. That's how much 2 lawyers paid to have him killed.
It's sad to think that people get to the point that they do. I may not be a saint myself, but on the other hand, there's a limit of what people do, and there's certain lines that individuals just do not cross.
Buck's son, Buzz Clinton, did nothing to deserve death.
Uh-oh, the magic carpet's starting to lift off.
His only crime, to fall in love with single mom, Kim Carpenter, and play dad to her daughter, Rebecca.
Kim and Buzz were extremely happy. They were 2 people who understood each other. And they really fit together well, those 2, right? And Buzz really loved Kim's child, Rebecca.
1, 2, 3.
And wanted to be a father figure for that child.
You feel that? Is it heavy? Is it heavy?
Because the child did not have a father.
And this father will be taken away too, in a bitter family feud. Kim Carpenter's parents dote on their granddaughter. Her sister Beth is also fiercely protective of her niece. But they all have a big problem with Buzz Clinton.
They hated him from day one. All the Carpenters hated him. Beth Carpenter, the mother, the father.
To the rest of the Carpenter family, Buzz isn't worthy of raising a daughter because of his past career as a male revue dancer.
They looked at Buzz as he was this kid who was a dancer. So whenever they met, there were fireworks, you know? They didn't get along.
This was a guy that was, in their opinion, a loser, who took off his clothes for money and let women stuff $20 bills in his jockstrap. And they couldn't stand it.
Writer M. William Phelps says Beth Carpenter was a single-minded woman.
There was just the one Beth. She was all business, whatever she did. Beth Carpenter, when she set out to get something she wanted, she got it.
Beth's latest achievement is a law degree and a job with a Connecticut attorney called Heyman Klein.
In walks this beautiful, young, 30-year-old lawyer, fresh out of law school, and Heyman invites her right in and says, "You want a job? I'll give you a job."
Beth has begun her professional career and now begins a personal crusade. Her goal this time, to take custody of her niece, Rebecca.
She wanted the child, and she wanted to raise the child because she could do it better.
Sole custody case number 2064.
Never giving consideration to Kim.
Custody case of Rebecca Carpenter.
Beth Carpenter decided we're gonna have to fight for custody of that child, and we're gonna begin to show that Kim and Buzz are just not capable of raising that child.
The drawn-out custody case pits sister against sister in a vicious battle.
Beth began to just testify in court that, you know, Buzz is this, Buzz is that. Kim is this, Kim is that. Kim never comes home to take care of the child. What's gonna be different now? And ultimately comes down to, what is a judge gonna believe? And the judge sides with whom? Kim and Buzz.
For the first time in her life, Beth Carpenter doesn't get what she wants.
Beth and her parents believed that Kim and her husband, Buzz, were unfit parents. But apparently the court didn't see it that way. The court awarded custody of that child to her parents, to her own parents, to be with her mommy and daddy. And I think maybe Beth's a real sore loser.
She has taken the legal route, and it has failed her. Now, young attorney Beth Carpenter will take the law into her own hands.
This is her obsession now. Taking this child away from her sister. This is her life's work. She needs to do this. She started it, she's gonna finish it. There's only one thing left to do in Beth's mind.
Yo, what is this?
And that is to get rid of the problem.
Sole custody case number 2064. Rebecca.
Beth Carpenter is leading a spiteful
Custody
family
case.
feud.
I find no evidence whatsoever of any child abuse in this case. And
She's lost a legal battle against her sister for custody of her sister's child.
This case is dismissed.
But Beth Carpenter will not be denied.
You know, my opinion of Beth Carpenter is that she's nothing but a conniving, backstabbing Miss Priss who thinks that she's entitled to anything in this world without any ramifications.
Somewhere along the line, Beth seems to have developed the idea that she was God and could take someone's life if she felt it should be gone.
Beth Carpenter has a deadly plan in motion. Her kisses never come for free.
Beth was very skilled at manipulation and getting other people to do something that she didn't want to get her hands dirty doing herself.
Beth's boss, Heyman Klein, thinks this is sex with no strings attached.
Amen.
Yeah.
But his lover has a favor to ask.
I need your help.
a big one.
He was like, if that's what you want, honey, I am in love with you. I'll do anything for you.
Say yes. Say it.
All right. She goes to Heyman, hey, can you find me someone to get rid of this problem? And Heyman says, absolutely. I'll go right to my cocaine dealer, Mark Dupre. So the deal is $1,000 up front and $4,000 on the back end.
Dupre bides his time until fate hands him the perfect opportunity.
Mark Dupre is looking through the paper one day, and he notices an ad in there for a tow truck for sale. And who is selling that tow truck? Buzz Clinton. And he decides, that's it. I'm gonna call him up and tell him I wanna buy his tow truck. So, Mark Dupre goes and for some reason picks up his son and brings him along. So they meet Buzz Clinton at a local hotel, and Buzz is driving a car. And Mark says, where's it? Buzz says, I have to jump the tow truck, the battery's dead, follow me, and I'll take you to it right now. Mark says, great. And they're driving to go look at this tow truck. And Mark Dupre is in back of him, and Mark Dupre flashes his lights at Buzz to pull over. Buzz pulls over right on the connector, right on the exit ramp, pulls over. Mark Dupre pulls over in back of him. Buzz gets out of the car, leaves it running.
Hey, buddy, what's this all about?
He comes out and he says, what's going on? Mark Dupre walks up to him with a pistol. And drops him right there on the interstate.
That night, Buck Clinton gets a call from his daughter-in-law that breaks his heart.
About 20 after 7, or a little after, shortly after that, got a call from Kim that Buzz isn't home yet. And then we got another call shortly after that by Kim and saying Buzz still isn't home. A friend had stopped by and said that his car is on the side of the road and somebody had been shot.
Buzz Clinton dies at the scene. Within months, a tip-off to police connects Mark Dupre to the killing.
So that begins the domino effect. You have the trigger man, then you have the guy who hired the trigger man, and then you have the mastermind, and those dominoes begin to fall.
Mark Dupre tells all about his murder-for-hire deal with Heyman Klein and Beth Carpenter. Beth denies it and blames her former boss and lover.
She begins to tell the police, Heyman Klein was obsessed with me to the fact that I told him that I had a problem with Buzz Clinton, and he took it upon himself to have him killed. Well, they asked Heyman Kleinman about that, and he tells a different story.
After testifying against Beth, Heyman Klein is sentenced to 35 years in prison. Mark Dupre is jailed for 45 years. And the harshest sentence is reserved for Beth Carpenter. Life in prison with no parole.
I myself was happy and yet sorrow at the same time, because here you have an individual who was young, brilliant, as Beth was, a life ahead of her, and through emotion, just made bad choices, and now is spending her life in prison.
For a woman who was once a gifted young lawyer, the fall from grace is complete.
She has now joined the lowlife of society.
Beth Carpenter is in a prison right now, and she can look out her prison window and she can see the connector where Buzz Clinton was murdered from her prison cell.
It didn't take much for Beth to kill her sister's husband, who never did anything to Beth. How safe do you think you'd be if she was out there?